scheme that is being implemented by the Ghana Health Service. So it's important for us to remember that this fight is on fully. All gloves are off. We are fighting this 100% full energy. As you can see, the streets out there are totally, free of the usual traffic, both human and vehicular traffic. As you can see, this is around the ridge, roundabout area towards the asylum down, and there's virtually 2 or 3 cars. That's it, So it's an empty. All right. So this was earlier in the dawn. And you can see the streets. There's hardly any car lights on the roads. You can't see much vehicular movement there. And I think it's important to just bear in mind that, this is
to use public toilets, right? Because we know that that's something that not everyone has access to toilets in their homes. So our colleague Caleb Kuda spoke to people who had to use the public toilets. We'll take a look at that and continue the show.
Please, what's your full name?
My name is Beniza Omari.
Great. Where are you coming from?
I stay around here.
Okay.
This community here.
There's a lockdown. You're supposed to stay home. So what are you doing outside?
In Ghana, the facilities are few. It's not like the Europe one. When they tell you there's a lockdown, all of them will stay at home because they have got their apartments and all sort of things. But here, the public toilet, you have to use the public toilet. So early in the morning like that, people come to toilets a lot, so you have to come. That's why you've seen me here.
Okay. So you've been there?
Yeah.
Okay. How essential is it for us to open public toilets during the lockdown?
Very essential because for toilets you cannot do anything with going to toilets. When it comes, you have to just go.
Serious. Thank you. What are your thoughts about the partial lockdown?
The lockdown is a very good idea because this disease, you see how it has devastated the Europeans. So we have to take precautions like that so that we will not mingle too much for us to be able to not to get the disease too much. So the lockdown is a very good idea.
So there you have it, our colleague Caleb Kuda interacting with a man who has to, attend to nature's call. And I must say that I commend the president because a lot of the measures put in place were so unique to our environment, right? We didn't just copy blindly what other people were doing. I mean, who would think that people need to use public toilets?
And so they need
permission to step out to do that. I was really impressed. And yesterday's as well was very specific.
Yeah, and I remember when he gave the speech first, he said, look, we can't copy in total anything that we see somewhere and slap it onto Ghana. We can't do that, right? So you see that the details of the rollout of the lockdown are very nuanced. Very, very, very nuanced. And I think it's important that we maintain it that way and understand that. Because a lot of people, I remember I have friends who are in town. They came a little bit earlier before the whole explosion of, COVID-19 around, but they came from the States. So they have a very Americanized mindset and thinking and all that, And we're saying that, but the lockdown is, in fact, I remember one thing, one of them said that lockdown is half-hearted.
Why?
Oh, yeah. Because
they wanted a complete lockdown.
Because the understanding is that if it's a lockdown, it should be complete, and then it's about why are you giving, exemptions for this, exemption for that, and so on and so forth. But here you can see it. So I took my time to explain. And by the time I was done explaining, it was like an aha moment,
To them,
exactly, because people don't realize that the president has a difficult job to do. As much as he's protecting us from COVID-19, he has to do it in a way that he's not trying to punish any Ghanaian, trying to punish any citizen, so we must, as comfortably as possible, but as safely as possible, ride this storm and get out of it as soon as possible.
Definitely. Now, one of the things that we found really interesting was when the president addressed us, he said people should stay home. And I'm going to quote the Education Minister, Matthew Opoku-Prempeh. He says, "When you move, the virus moves."
Yes.
Okay, but sadly, some people in Accra have decided that, well, since Accra is on a lockdown, they are going to leave to go back to their various hometowns or wherever it is that they come from. So our colleague, Umar Rusanda Amadou, spoke to some of the drivers who were transporting these people back to wherever they came from. Let's take a look at that conversation.
This is City TV, and my name is Umar Rusanda Amadou. Now, we are coming to you from an area known as Estate Junction on the Kasoa Bujumburam Road. We are looking at the traffic here. This traffic may not be unusual, but if you saw the length, you know why it's worth covering for you on City TV. The story is that people are moving in droves out of Accra, out of Kasoa, headed towards the central region and possibly to the western region. This is the ECOWAS route. This is the N1, the major road that would take you out of Accra, out of Kasoa, ahead of the lockdown. And vehicles are moving at a snail pace, and the traffic is crazy. Let me see if I can get some of the drivers who have been stuck in traffic to have a conversation with them. I'm attempting to reach out. If you could just, thank you. Okay. Hello, sir. I'm from City TV. My name is Umar Rusanda. I want to talk about the traffic briefly, if you don't mind. How long have you been in this route?
2.5 hours. I left Pokwasi. I arrived at Kasoa here 8:30. Now it's about 11 something. It's terrible today.
Have you been using this road all the time?
Most often.
So this is very unusual?
Unusual.
So that is again, and let me just say that the traffic is moving slowly, but we are still attempting to have a conversation while we are in motion, and it is a lawless situation, and like you're seeing, people are driving on the shoulders of the road. Hello, sir. My name is Umar Rusanda from City TV. Namu kwa him, muse muni namu shekamu. Uni wani ukano.
Meneme yere ne membani minia.
Namu kwa him.
Ya kwa aguna kunyako.
Ose.
Aguna kunyako.
Na dentia.
Oh, enye bibia si weekend na yebedi wo fie 2 weeks ni yepese ye kwaspen wo ye krom.
Lockdown one.
Yem fan bibisa.
Enye se musuru.
Oh, David.
Na ekwan we unim uta fa ha.
Oh, me fa.
Na traffic no zo hun se.
Oh, nkande akoye Sundays na nka me fi se nkenye bibisa, but me so me fi se bibinti ama traffic na jam pa.
All right. It's a weekend now. You've been dinner 2 weeks now.
Guys, lockdown means lockdown. I mean, I don't understand how we can even, but it's okay. I understand the logic. Some people are not from Accra. They are here to work, so they are like,
we came to work, and if we're going to be, we've gotten 2 weeks off, then
might as well go to our villages.
Yeah, but I think, well, I think also the president knew definitely that some of this would happen, but still decided that, look, let's do it anyway, and let's give them the room to make the decisions that they need to make. Interestingly, if you juxtapose what has happened in Ghana vis-a-vis what's happening in India. In India, it was an immediate lockdown, and unfortunately, a lot of people are stuck in between places, so as much as we may think that, the president has sort of, maybe he's made a mistake, he didn't think through clearly and everything else, we can see so many things as it's coming out, that there were actually wise decisions that were taken, and well thought through. So yeah, I think we're in a good place. And I would like to also say that if you're home right now, and you should be, send us, messages what are your experiences? What are you experiencing this morning? How's the morning been so far? And then if you have any questions for us, you want to understand something, you want some clarity, please send them to us. The hashtag is Breakfast Daily on all social media platforms, and also the WhatsApp line is 0550585832. If you happen to be outside Ghana, you want a bit of clarity of what's happening in Ghana, kindly use the country code +233, and we will get your messages and read them out.
Definitely, and we always tell you guys that the show is interactive, right? So you know our content already. On Mondays, Kasoa, who is a nutritionist, she comes on to tell us all about our nutrition. Tuesdays, we have a health professional. So if there's any particular topic you would like them to address, let us know. So let us know the day, or if Kasoa is coming for nutrition next week and there's a specific topic related to nutrition that you want her to address. If Dr. Kelvin is coming tomorrow to talk about health, there's a specific topic you would want. If Sandista is coming to talk about tech and consumer trend, and you would want her to address something, just let us know. Thursdays, we have DIYs. So once you let us know with the number and the hashtag, it'll be very easy for us to tailor our content to fit your needs, because we know that you're home and you'll be joining us throughout this entire process. So we want to make it all fun and relevant for you.
Absolutely, absolutely. We also have the police making a comment on compliance for us. Superintendent Sheila Abeye Buckman, who's the Director of Police Public Affairs. Let's take a look at that, and we'll come back and continue the conversation.
Now, people need to know that these roadblocks do not allow you to either leave or come to Accra, Kumasi, Tema, or Kasoa. But within these cities, we will allow some activities. Security personnel have been directed to ensure that people stay home. It is for your own benefit, it is for my benefit, it is for the benefit of all that we do stay home. When we say home, we are referring to that confined place where you normally live, or which is your permanent abode. So it can be a closed area like a house or a shelter. But if your home is an open space, we expect that you be confined to that space as your home. We expect that no one will walk about idling. We do not expect people to be hawking, or loitering, or dawn preaching, or jogging, or playing football, playing drafts, performing sporting activities. No. We encourage you to stay home for the benefit of all Ghanaians and those who live in Ghana. If you have to go out to get food, to buy medicine, to undertake banking transaction, you will have to explain, or you may have to explain to the security personnel when he stops you to ask you. So within Accra, Kumasi, Tema, and Kasoa, we are going to have snap checks, meaning that we will have barriers where when you get to you are going, you must fall within any of the exemption categories. We will also conduct patrol in neighborhood and when we will ask you to go back home. So please, let's cooperate with the security personnel. Some of you have asked about identification. As the Information Minister has said, any official identification of the service you provide is sufficient. There are some people that we know specific identification are being issued to. But if you also have any document that links you to the service you provide, like your employment letter, it can be a letter of introduction from your employer, it can even be your pay slip. Security personnel will accept this and assist you to move about. But as I have said, if the movement is just for idling, that shall not be accepted. And we hope that you will cooperate with us. Now, what about commercial vehicles within Accra, Kumasi, Tema, and Kasoa? We expect that there won't be a lot of commercial vehicles since there won't be a lot of movement. But for those that will have to move, we are pleading with you, no honking. And do not just move your car looking for passengers who do not exist. It is better for us to try to conform within.
So there you have it. Don't go outside unless you absolutely have to. That means don't go jogging, don't go playing soccer, don't go playing chaskele, don't go playing pilulu. And we know some of you will get bored within a week. But please, it is for our own good. If you don't move, the virus will not move. That's the education Mr. Matthew Poku-Prempeh. And as it stands now, we all don't know our status. Some of us may be asymptomatic, so that means I may have it and I'm not showing any symptoms. So I don't want to move and pass it on to other people who may have pre-existing health conditions. And we all know family members who can't even afford to get regular checkups. So if they are suffering from a disease, they don't even know. So you go shake this person's hand, you go stay in their house, you go party with them, laugh with them, and you pass it on to the person, and they will not survive. If you had just stayed in your home and followed the rules, we would have been able to contain it. So let us all stay home, and 2 weeks will be over in no time.
Yeah. You know, we have this thing in Ghana that we say that, how do we say it? It says that, is it kokonsa no get leg, or something no get leg? It be okromaf they carry am, right? It's the same thing. Coronavirus no get leg. It be human being they carry am. Yeah. You know, so it's important to remember that as soon as you move, you're either going to infect somebody, in danger of infecting somebody, or in danger of being infected yourself. It's just one of two things, right? So let's seriously limit as much as possible, you know. And then I just want to go through some of the list of those who have been exempted from the no movement instruction, all right? Health workers, bankers, members of the executive, legislature, and judiciary, production, distribution, and marketing of food, beverages, pharmaceuticals, medicine, paper and plastics packaging, environmental and sanitation services, staff of Valco, road and railway construction workers, mining workers, fisher folk, members of the security agencies assigned lawful duties, staff of electricity, water, telecommunications, e-commerce, and digital service providers, staff of fuel stations, media. Now, if you go through this and you think through it, you can understand why for all these groups there's an exemption. It may look like a tall list, but it's supposed to allow the system to continue to function so that those of you who are at home can be at home comfortably. So, for example, staff of electricity, water, telecommunications, e-commerce, and digital service providers. If these people were not exempt, trust me, after 2-3 days, you're going to have big issues at home, you know, but they need to be exempt so that your time at home, your 2 weeks at home, is as comfortable as possible. Okay, if you just go through this list, you realize that it was well thought through. It's important.
Yeah. Now, we have some of the messages from you guys, so I'll read them briefly. Good morning. My name is Akomia Esiedua Abena, texting from Medina Estate. What am I doing this lockdown? I signed up for an online course related to what I'm studying in the university, which is childhood education, and I signed up for a diploma in educational psychology. It's a free course, at least to keep my mind busy and the little chance to boredom, and more video calls to family and friends. I think that's a really great strategy. A lot of free courses online for all of us to partake in as we are home. Another one says, "Hi CCTV, my name is Nene Ozo. I want to find about my auntie who is to have an injection of a drug in Kolebu Teaching Hospital on the 2nd of April. Can she still come?" I think she should be able to go. As long as she's not showing signs and symptoms of coronavirus, she should be able to go. This lockdown will surely bring more problems to the whole country because many people are traveling. No, more people are not traveling. It's just a few people who are traveling. So let's not generalize it to make it look like the whole country is traveling. And another message here says, "Please, my question relates to private water tankers. Are they permitted to sell since most places are without water?" Yes, I think private water tankers are expected to sell water since it's an essential service and a product that we all need to survive. Let me see. CCTV, water not flowing through our taps at Accra through Atimpoku. Wow. Okay, so we need to do something about this water situation, but keep those messages coming with a hashtag Breakfast Daily and the WhatsApp line 0550585832. If you're outside Ghana, the country code is +233. We'll do well to answer them for you before the show is over.
Yep. Up next, we have the news review segment. And so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this break. My name is David Kwekusechi.
And I am Jifa Ekuya Ametam. We'll be right back.
Agriculture is the backbone of Ghana. For the prosperity of the Ghanaian economy, it is imperative for the youth to develop interest in agriculture. The Living Fields Agri Challenge provides the opportunity to train and develop the next top agribusiness entrepreneurs. For this maiden edition, we have 12 contestants, 4 production groups. Economic viable and market-oriented vegetables will be cultivated. At least 4 agribusiness startups. Over 300,000 Ghana cedis worth of amazing prizes to be won at the end of the Agri Challenge. Living Fields Agri Challenge is proudly sponsored by media partners. Powered by PB Studios.
Living Fields Agri Challenge every Thursday at 7:30 p.m. only on City TV.
Welcome back, and it's time for us to do the news review. At this point, I'm going to read to you the headlines of the dailies that we have today. I will introduce my guests who are already seated in the studio, and then we will come back and have a conversation. Now, the show is interactive, so don't forget to use the hashtag Breakfast Daily. And the WhatsApp line to send us messages on is 0550-585832. If you happen to be outside Ghana, watching by DSTV or online, kindly use the country code +233. So on the front page of the daily graphic, stay at home measures begin, halting the spread of COVID-19. Stay at home measures begin. President, others donate into COVID-19 fund. COVID-19 effects. Churches bear brunt of offering holidays. All right. And the front page of the Ghanaian Times. Stay at home. President orders as 14-day partial lockdown starts today. 10 Guineans test positive for COVID-19 to be repatriated. GHS to conduct mandatory testing for all persons in lockdown areas. Government establishes COVID-19 National Public Trust Fund. On the front page of the Daily Statesman, 10,000 health workers get 10 million Ghana cedi insurance package. We won't intimidate anyone. Police assures and urges public to cooperate for COVID-19 lockdown success. President sets up COVID-19 Trust Fund. On the front page of the New Crusading Guide, troops out to provide security, not to cause mayhem during lockdown. This is from the Ghana Armed Forces. Tanko Mensah-Bonsu Kulendi nominated to Supreme Court bench. Tobinco donates 251,000 Ghana cedis worth of medical supplies to Ministry of Health. President charges COVID-19 Trust Fund Board of Trustees. KJTM Market, Asafo, others disinfected. Occupy Ghana, 3 others donate towards COVID-19 fight. On the front page of the publisher, the new publisher, panic buyers storm Accra Kumasi markets as lockdown begins today. Millennium City Schools cash missing at AMA. Open letter to South Korea's ambassador to Ghana. On the front page of the Daily Post, John Mahama donates PPE to Ridge Hospital health workers. Coronavirus, 11 more cases recorded. Case count now 152, 5 deaths. Private sector to launch 100 million Ghana cedi COVID-19 fund. Coronavirus, 2 weeks lockdown of Accra, Tema, Kasoa and Kumasi starts today. On the front page of the BNFT, Coronanomics. Akufo-Addo pushes 1 billion Ghana cedi lifeline into economy. Orders banks to reduce lending rate by 2%, sets up COVID-19 fund, restricts movement of people to curb spread of virus. Excuse me. Fallout of COVID-19 outbreak, hotels and banks in talks over debts. Cowbank offers incentives to drive digital transactions as it fights COVID-19. Evolution of the mobile money landscape from between 2001 to 2019. Sub-Saharan Africa tops with 56 billion US dollars in value. And finally, on the front page of the Economic Times, 1 billion US dollars needed to put Ghana economy in shape. This is from Alex Mould. West African countries to benefit from 379 million US dollar World Bank support. All right, let's do some online stories. And on citynewsroom.com, we have lockdown of Greater Accra, Kumasi begins. Coronavirus, more illegal immigrants busted after closure of borders. This is from the Ghana Immigration Service. NDC bars communicators from in-studio radio TV discussions over COVID-19 lockdown. COVID-19, don't withhold relevant information from health officials, says Opong Nkrumah. Coronavirus quarantine center set up in Tamale. Drones to transport blood samples. This is from the health minister. And on citybusinessnews.com, AGI urges more support from banks to businesses as COVID-19 hits hard. More deliveries for courier service providers as COVID-19 restricts movement. Banks to readjust interest rates to reflect drop in policy rate. COVID-19, reducing cost of our services over low patronage, not prudent. So this is from the hotel managers. TUC urges all workers to comply with partial lockdown rules. And on My Joy Online, Bahama supports coronavirus fight with 100 sets of PPEs and other items. For more news, visit citynewsroom.com, and for more business news, visit citybusinessnews.com. It's all COVID-19 today. So many different aspects of the conversations that we're going to have. But I've been joined by my guests, and let me introduce them to you. I have Ebenezer Afeni Dazi, who is the head of business news here at City TV. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
Great.
All right. First day of lockdown, how are you feeling?
It's an interesting day because, I'm just waiting to see how it goes. I have never in my life in Ghana experienced what looks like a curfew before.
Okay.
You know, I'm told, we've had those instances years back.
Yes.
In the north, they've had it several times because of their chieftaincy issues.
Yes.
We've had it in a few places in Ghana. I'm yet to see one. And this morning was looking like one. The roads was really empty. And it was really surprising for a Monday morning. So we'll see how it goes.
All right. Okay. Let me introduce my other guest to you. He's no stranger to this show. Elvis Darko, who is the editor of the Finder newspaper. Good morning, Elvis.
Morning.
First day. How you doing?
Oh, I'm good. At least for me, I'm on break for the 2 weeks, so I'm going to have some real rest for the first time in some years.
Yeah. So, but you guys have come out with your paper already, so no. I don't know. Will you be publishing?
No, we are not publishing.
We
are not publishing for the next 2
weeks.
weeks.
Wow.
I'm not going to be on break for the next 2 weeks.
Nice. It's good for you. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good. Today was very interesting. I think as a child, even coming from what you said earlier, I actually experienced a curfew. There's very little that you actually appreciate, in terms of the ramifications, because your parents take care of everything anyway, know, and they shield you from the real effects, so you don't really understand what it means.
It's true.
Yeah. So anyway, let's get into the stories. I'm going to read to you. The first one we'll get into is the lockdown of Accra. Let me read that story from citynewsroom.com. And then we'll come back into studio to have a conversation. Lockdown of Greater Accra, Kumasi begins. This is from citynewsroom.com. The two-week partial lockdown of Accra, Tema, Kumasi, and Kasoa is enforced as Ghana begins its most drastic measure to fight the novel coronavirus pandemic. Ghana joins South Africa, Kenya, Rwanda, Mali, among others in Africa, to have announced some restrictions of movement to curb the spread of the virus, which has killed over 30,000 people across the globe. Ghana's coronavirus case count has risen from 137 to 152 in the period between the March 27th announcement of the partial lockdown and its commencement today, 30th March 2020. One person has also died in the period, raising Ghana's death count to 5. While some roads have been devoid of activity, others have seen some police presence to enforce the lockdown. During the 2-week partial lockdown, citizens in affected areas are advised to only leave their homes in search of essential items or activities. Among these essentials listed by President Nana Akufo-Addo were food, medicine, and water. In addition, only activities that the average citizen will be allowed to undertake during this period will be banking transactions and the use of public toilet facilities, according to the president. As part of the lockdown, there will be no intercity movement of vehicles and aircraft for private or commercial purposes. This is generally expected to be a heavy police presence as the lockdown develops. Police are working in collaboration with the Ghana Navy, Army, and Air Force in a humanitarian operation tagged COVID Safety. I'll stop right there and let me begin by engaging Eben. So you've been following this story as it's developed over the last few weeks, I'm sure, as well as happenings in other places. Sure. How effective do you expect that this lockdown will be in curbing the spread?
For me, it's a bit dicey. It's a bit dicey because the onset of this lockdown itself came with certain defects. And those defects worry me.
Really?
One of the defects was the fact that we had people moving out of the lockdown areas to other places that there are no lockdowns. And the numbers were huge. Now, don't forget, you've not done any kind of mass testing. So if you have people leaving the expected lockdown areas to areas that there are no lockdowns, you should be worried. Because you do not know when people have the disease and they have not developed symptoms yet. And they are taking it to other places. Now, if you are going to the village, you should even be more worried because you don't have the best of health facilities in those parts of Ghana. So that's, for me, was my first worry. Then the second worry or defect was when people kind of misunderstood the message of the lockdown, especially the exemptions, to the point that you had people massing up at gas fuel stations, you had people massing up at banks, you had people massing up in the markets. And in most of these situations, there was nothing like social distancing. So in that moment, that heat of that moment, you could also have a spread of the disease. So for me, those situations are a worry for me. And so I'm just waiting to see how this thing goes. But I still want to believe that beyond that, what is left for us now within the period could come up with some positive gains. But of course, I don't know how we are going to judge that, but let's give ourselves that the 2 weeks period. Maybe after that we could really judge more. Then also, even around this period, for instance, there was a story about the headquarters, the KIA, moving en masse also to the northern region. I mean, all these situations are a bit worrying. For instance, the story about the man in Upper West who had the disease. He came from Spain, went through Egypt, came through Accra, joined the bus and in that process, you never know that what's happened. And also now, beyond even what we are experiencing in Accra, we are recording cases elsewhere. We have a new 10 cases we had came from Tamale, involving the Guinean nationals. We don't even know how they entered into this country and at what point they entered because our borders were supposed to be closed. So we can only judge the effectiveness of this at the end of the day, at the end of the 2 weeks. If already we don't have cases going to rise already in the system, because we know the cases take time to multiply. So if cases are not already going to multiply, then maybe really the effect of this may not be as much as we expect. We can only hope and to see how it goes. Also, the implementation matters. We want to see that level of enforcement on the ground, that people are really complying with the directives so that we'll get the gains. Otherwise, we may not get much of the gains we expect.
Elvis, what do you make of it?
Well, let me start by saying that we have to be very careful as a country as a people, we should understand that if this pandemic should get to the levels that we are seeing in Europe, we will be in very serious crisis. The lockdown and giving 48 hours, you can say it is good, but it can also be bad. And it can become a recipe for disaster if the disease is already widely spread among the population. If you look at what happened in Italy, then you will be very much worried about what we have done in Ghana in terms of the lockdown. In Italy, the disease was predominantly in Bergamo. So when they realized that the spread in Bergamo was very wide, then they decided to lock down Bergamo. But they also gave this kind of laxity before the lockdown. And because of the announcement that there's going to be a lockdown and laxity was given, the people in Bergamo moved to all other parts of Italy. So by the time Bergamo was locked down, a lot of people had left Bergamo, but they can't stand and they can't be under the lockdown and move to other parts of Italy. So it is one of the key issues in Italy now that if you look at why the disease is now everywhere in Italy, is the laxity with which the government announced the lockdown. See, the difference between these things is that if you look at the Chinese lockdown, it was immediate. And the Western countries were insulting China that how can you just wake up and go and lock up people? You are a communist and you are dictating to the people. But Chinese worked because the lockdown was immediate, direct. But when Italy decided to lax it a number of days before they do the lockdown, people moved out of Bergamo to all parts of Italy, and we see what's happening in Italy today.
Okay, so Elvis,
in Spain, when other countries were saying no, this could be a problem, so they were restricting people even going to the stadium for Champions League. Spain said forget it, and they allowed supporters of Atletico Madrid to go to Italy. And then allow the Italians to come to Spain. They mingled. So when you look at the record of Spain, the breakout is more in the concentration of Atletico Madrid supporters. And they came at that time because they had not detected the disease. They also went and mingling with the society. That is why Spain is in the crisis it is today. And because of the European Union and the free movement, people were moving across these countries. You know, Spain, Italy, Germany, these countries are France, they are like so close to each other. So if we look at what happened in China with the lockdown being immediate, and what happened in Italy, that the laxity was given, which afforded people the opportunity to move around, you can realize that if in Ghana, which we don't know, if in Ghana, if the spread really is wide among the population, then we should be heading for a disaster. It will only not happen if indeed the spread is not among the population. The massing up at markets, at gas filling station, fuel filling station, and other places just to shop ahead of the lockdown was another. It will also turn out to be another disaster if the disease is already widespread among people, yet symptoms are not showing. But it will not be a disaster if it is not widespread. And since we don't know the extent of spread, we can always pray that this last that was given, because we think that we have special circumstances, this last we pray that the disease is not widespread, and therefore it will not go beyond the levels we are seeing in Europe. Look, the reason Ghana must be worried and Africa must be worried is that, look, my brother, across the globe, health systems are analyzed on yearly basis. We have what we call the Global Health Security Index. The Western countries that are struggling today to deal with COVID, if you look at the ranking, they are far above us in terms of the strength and ability of their health system. Ours is among the weakest when we look at Global Health Security Index. And when you read that report, you'll be worried for Ghana that we don't have a health system that is capable of handling this disease if there should be a widespread of the disease. And that's why every Ghanaian must be careful. You may be taking steps today and thinking that you are doing what pleases you, but we will be in serious crisis. Let me just read one aspect of the report that worries me. It said one of the categories in the report is that of prevention, which scored a country's preparedness to prevent the emergency release of pathogens that could constitute an extraordinary public health risk. Ghana's score was 32.2 points and is ranked among the least prepared countries around the world. This means that as a country, we should not be surprised about the risk of human-to-human transmission, since we are overall poorly prepared for such eventualities. Ghana scores a detection and reporting which measures a country's ability to detect and report epidemics of potential international concern that can spread beyond national borders, was slightly above the global average, that's 40.5. So if you look at our scores in this category, we could be much higher if we had data spreading between animals and human health. My point here is that it's telling you that the report is saying that when it comes to Ghana's preparedness to deal with diseases like COVID, which is a pathogen, Ghana is very, very among the least countries that are prepared to deal with it. So if Spain, Italy, Germany, US, UK, by the report, are better prepared to deal with such circumstances, and they are in a crisis that we are seeing on television, it meant that if ours should spread to those levels, we are in total, we will be worse off than those advanced countries. That is why it is extremely important that the steps we are taking to make sure that these diseases are not spread in this country are resolute. That is why once the argument is being made that the president giving 48 hours is important, as I said, if the disease is not widespread in the community that is being detected, which is Greater Accra, Ashanti, and Kasoa, if we are not that widespread, we are safe. But assuming that the sickness is with a lot of people, but are yet to be detected, what we have seen in the past 2 days before today could spell doom for us as a country. And we have been told that we don't even have up to 100 ventilators in Ghana, the whole nation. We don't even have up to 100 ventilators. And we are told that if the disease is acute, you need a ventilator before you can survive. If you read the kind of things that are coming out of the advanced countries, people are left just to die because there's no ventilators for them. So I am just sounding this caution that if the systems that have been ranked far above ours in the Global Health Security Index are struggling to deal with this disease, we must take, no matter how draconian and drastic the situations will be, we need to take them before we can deal with this situation. If not, if we continue with this laxity attitude, we are going to be in trouble. Security people are supposed to be changing.
You think we are being lax?
I think I'm giving you. I give an example of Bergamo in Italy. That these were the areas that were Bergamo was identified as the area that has the disease. And then the government announced that they were going to lock it down. But because there was a number of days given before the lockdown, people moved out of Bergamo. They were not showing any signs.
Let me come back to you. Yes.
Because I think that personally, based on the background of this information we have, especially the Italian situation, which is well known, I was of the view, and also based on the laxity with which our partial lockdown is, I was of the view that it should have been an immediate lockdown. You know why?
Why?
You can go and get food, you can get water, you can get fuel to buy, you can fill your gas, you can get medicine, you can go to the hospital, you can cash money at the bank. We needed to have done an immediate lockdown.
Okay.
For the partial thing we are doing, because ours is not as strong. Let's be frank. Initially, when it came, people were even laughing. What kind of lockdown is this? That's too many exemptions. It should have been an immediate lockdown. We took it for granted. You know, it hurts me when we have examples to learn from, but we don't. The Italian situation should have taught us something. It's really, really painful. We've not recorded cases in Takrady. We've not recorded cases in other places. But there were people, I have people who moved to Takrady. And they are there. But like we also say, you never know, maybe the spread is already in the community, but we haven't seen it yet. It's not shown because we've not done testing. So as for me, this should have been an immediate lockdown. Also, don't forget, as for the point about total lockdown, I don't support it, because even the most sophisticated countries with the worst cases, none of them did an immediate lockdown. Most of them, apart from China, most of the rest, US has been doing it city by city, state by state. They didn't immediately do the lockdown. Most of the places, they did immediate lockdown. Over time, depending on how things are going, you can escalate it. India has done immediate lockdown, and we know what they are going through now.
Suffering for
the Prime Minister has been begging the poor people that he has caused them. there are people who want to go and take medicine. India has the third largest population of HIV/AIDS patients, about 21 million out of their 1.3 billion. And India has still 17% of the population very poor. So if you are taking such a drastic decision and you don't have any measures in place, how the poor will survive? There were migrants who were walking for several kilometers to go to other places. Some have died because people were walking over them, police shooting. I mean, you don't want to take such a decision at a go because people, and you see, I've noticed that it is so easy for people who are privileged in society to call for total lockdown.
It is.
It is very easy, but when you are in the poor category, you won't easily sit down and say, let's do a total lockdown. When your daily bread is dependent on the hawking on the streets every day, you don't call for a total lockdown. So I am very happy the president didn't fall for those emotions, and then we decided to try something little by little. I thought that was a good decision. But then, because of the laxity in our partial lockdown, it should have been an immediate lockdown. And I thought that we open ourselves to a serious risk, and we can only pray and hope that the people who were moving from places to places and the people who were massing up at service centers didn't have the disease that they would spread it. Elsewhere, we are in big trouble. So I agree perfectly with Elvis.
All right, so we're going to take a short break. Just for clarification, the situation with the Spain situation actually happened between Atalanta and Valencia in the Champions League clash. That's just for clarification. There wasn't Atletico Madrid. All right, so we'll take a short break. We'll be right back, and we'll continue the conversation.
And the number for Cactus Creek is 055-039-5007.
All right, welcome back, and this is Breakfast Daily. We're doing the news review right now. My guests are in studio. I have Ebenezer Afenidazi and Elvis Darko. The hashtag is Breakfast Daily. You send us some messages. I'm going to read a few of those messages, and then we'll continue the conversation. So many messages coming through. Good morning. I'm Kamara from Northern Region. What our government is doing is not good. At all. How can he lock down only 2 regions? What about the other regions? Are they not human beings? Fake government, fake life, fake everything. Well, good morning, sir. What provision does the government of Ghana have for those of us who are jobless and struggle to make ends meet? Why is he punishing the jobless like me to stay indoors for 2 weeks? Graduate without food for 2 weeks. Secondly, I saw the police officer mention a lot of restrictions. Does the president mention? Did the president mention what the police officer said? Don't lie to us. Well, they only came to clarify exactly what the president said, and their role in the lockdown. ICT-TV, I think the lockdown is a good idea, but the fact that people are allowed to leave the lockdown areas back to their hometowns is very dangerous because no one knows if they've had contact with infected persons after a few days before traveling back to their hometowns. As it is said, the virus cannot move if you don't move. This is Patrick Adongo from Bolgatanga. All right, keep the messages coming. You have so many more here, but I want to continue the conversation with my guests. And so let's talk about the police here say on the front page of the Daily Statement, we won't intimidate anyone. Police assures and urges the public to cooperate for COVID-19 lockdown success. Let me just read a couple of paragraphs for us and then move on from there. The Director of National Operations at the Ghana Police Service, Saibu Gariba, has implored the public to collaborate with the police in its quest to ensure the success of the partial lockdown restrictions aimed at curbing the spread of the deadly novel coronavirus. He noted that the latest development is not a combat operation, but a humanitarian measure, assuring that the security agency does not intend to terrorize the population. All right. Your quick comment on this.
Well, first of all, I must say that this sickness is a fluid situation.
Mm-hmm.
It's unprecedented in the history of mankind, and therefore we can all just be learning from the best experiences of other countries. No one is getting everything right. Some people are getting some things right, they are getting some things wrong. As a country, we only have to learn from the ones that other countries are getting right, so that we can follow that suit.
Yeah.
I'm saying this in the view of the security agencies. They are out there trying to protect us, but they also need to protect themselves.
Yes.
Because one issue in America, for instance, now is that a lot of security officers are contracting the COVID, and as part of their duty trying to ensure that people stay home, they are now contracting the disease. And that, for me, is something that we must be worried about. Because you are there to protect us. If you go and contract the disease, who will be there to protect us? And therefore, I'm just pleading with them that in the discharge of their duties, they shouldn't lose sight of the protocols. They should make sure that they interact with the people, but then they also do it in a way that protect their own lives.
Okay.
It's an emergency. Nobody expected it. They should be lenient with the people. It's the way the announcement was made and the explanation, especially in local languages. I think it did not really go down well in local language with a lot of people. So people are confused as to what they are capable of doing or how they are not capable of doing.
Yeah.
So I think the police themselves will need to be giving people more education as part of their job that, well, this is what it is. But if you don't understand it, I think this is how it should be. I think the use of force should completely be minimized or eliminated. They should rather take it upon themselves that they are like the frontline educators now who will come into contact with these people and try and educate them that, oh, this is what we are going to do. By the law, you are not allowed to do it. So please, you have to go. It shouldn't be like exchanges and those. I think that I hope that they have been given enough education that they can also pass on to the people they come across. For me, that would be what I would say about the security.
Okay. Eben, what about you?
Yeah, it's a bit difficult to trust the police in Ghana when they tell you they won't brutalize anybody. I mean, as for that, it's difficult to trust, but we only want to hope that because this is not a normal operation, it's not a normal operation. We are not in normal times. And like I like the way they put it, that it is a humanitarian operation and not a combat operation. But those are mere words. We can only see what they do on the ground. So we expect, indeed, it's true that there's a bit of a challenge in terms of understanding the components of the lockdown.
Yeah.
In terms of what some of the instructions are and all that. So it's also good that they make the first attempt to explain to people who don't understand, because it's a humanitarian exercise, so that if people, after you explain to them and they are being stubborn, you apply the minimum force that is necessary, because of course there are going to be stubborn people out there. So there will be some excesses. We can only hope that the excesses will be minimal. But as for the excesses, we are most likely to say it. But also, the IGP or the police hierarchy also needs to monitor its men in terms of their work out there. That is also very important.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so let's quickly move to the next story. Over 200 Kayeye leave Accra to escape coronavirus lockdown. Earlier on, I guess we're mentioning the fact that people are trying to escape and so on. I want to just delve into that a little bit more. Following the announcement of a lockdown of Accra, Kasoa, Tema, and Kumasi, there have been a number of people, mostly Kayaye, who have left the capital to Bimbila in the Nanumba North municipality of the northern region. On Sunday, March 29, 2020, about 6 VIP buses carrying 200 passengers were seen entering Bimbila. A COVID-19 task force formed by the Nanumba North municipality directed all the buses to the Bimbila Senior High School, where their temperatures were taken and sensitized on COVID-19 preventive measures. This is a very interesting story, because it follows the fact of what you said, that people are trying to escape the city, as has been seen in other places, you know, that were given, you know, some room before the lockdown happened, right? But in Bimbila, it looks like as soon as they expected them coming in, the Ghana Health Service was ready
to help,
you know, to help and to stop and to say, let's screen before we release them to go home.
Which was a good idea, because also in the case of the Kayaye, it's more of an economic issue.
Yeah.
They were not running away just because they are afraid that they will catch the disease in Accra. Don't forget, their daily bread comes from carrying pans every day.
Yeah.
If they are not going out because of the lockdown, what is their point being here? And don't forget, a lot of them are homeless. And your government has no contingency plan for the homeless in this lockdown in Accra or Kumasi. So in the case of the Kayaye, in fact, some of them actually started leaving before the lockdown. We had a news report where some of them had started leaving even before the lockdown. And their reason was that, well, they can't be here, they won't get any place to sleep, they will not be working, so what's the point being here? Don't forget, even if she's going to sleep in a thatch house or a mud house, it's better than she's sleeping on the streets within the lockdown in Accra. So they will go home. And so that's it. You see, some of these things comes with the structure of our economy, the structure of your social support systems. You basically don't have it. They don't work, and that's why you can't even carry out an immediate total lockdown like China would do, because you don't have the systems. So that's why some people think the president has been a bit too relaxed. But seriously, he's looking at the economic structure of his country. The point is that people will go and queue for public toilets. People will go and fetch water outside and bring it to their homes. So you have to give some leeways. So obviously, those things had to happen, but at least it's good that the Ghana Health Service took a good decision that, okay, they've come, so let's do what we can do, screen them and see the best we can get, so that we safeguard the situation. So I think that it was a good idea, but in some of the cases, there's not much you can do about it, because you have no place, like you are saying, okay, because of the lockdown for 2 weeks, we are going to put Kayaye in this place, or you don't have that. You didn't even think of it. I'm not sure we thought about the Kayayes. We didn't think about the Kayaye and all the other homeless people. You know, so they had to take their life into their own hands, and it's a matter of.
Maybe we thought of them. Maybe that's why it's not as stringent as.
Thought of them how?
No, I mean in the sense that give some room for people to do what they need to do before we lock down. You know, as opposed to locking down.
No, but you forget that they have to eat. So if they feed based on their daily work. And they are not going to work because the markets will not be so busy as before for you to be carrying things and stuff. And also, in as much as they may not be too much aware of the disease, they also know that in the process of serving people, they could also contract it. So it's an economic issue. If I'm not going to work and eat, what's the point in staying here? Let me go home. Over there, you spend less if you want to eat. So running back to the village, most of the time, most of it, for me, I saw it as, it was purely economic decision for this Kayaye. Purely economic.
What do you make of it, Elvis?
Oh, globally, the system in case of Kai and less privilege, it just exposed mankind as to how we have become individualistic and greedy people. That when we think we are better off than others, we really don't care much about those who are in difficult situations. And then in this time, we realize that even though we think we are safe, we are not safe because the very people we have neglected for long could be the carriers who would infect us in one way or the other. And then realize that now it's the collective decision and must be a collective way of doing things to be able to save lives. In America, for instance, they are struggling to get the homeless people on the street and where to keep them to be able to give them the social distancing and feed them and all that. So you realize that is something that is global. And if America itself is looking at how to be able to deal with their homeless people on the street in the event of COVID, then you see the Ghana situation. This America and the Western country, the ones we hail most, because at least they have certain things in place, at least for such people in times of difficulty. In winter, you know that they carry all these people on the street in the advanced countries into shelters, and then after the winter is gone, they leave them out, because they know during winter the weather is such that if you are outside, you easily die. So they make certain provision. There are poor people who go in for food stamps that you can just walk to a place and say, and you have a documentation that shows that you are very poor, you can't feed, and you can get at least one good ration a day for free. In America, for instance, schools are closed down. But they said in New York, for instance, there are about 100,000 kids who depend on state-provided food, like we are doing school feeding. There are children in America. New York alone has over 100,000 kids. So the order was that the schools should continue to prepare those foods for the kids to come and pick up and take it home, because without the food, they find it difficult to live. So it exposes how our social protection systems have not worked in the past. I believe that once we overcome COVID, we will not continue to be greedy individuals who think that for me, I have some place and I'm okay. So those who are suffering, let's let them suffer. This is the time for us to realize that after COVID, it's important to look for the less privileged in society. What can we do at least to give them a certain sense of security? The car you are talking about, you are in Dasuma, you are okay, you are in Madrid, you come and buy your things. Say, carry it to my car for me. By the carrying from your load to the car, he can transmit it to you. So once you have your car and think you are safe, now car will infest you. So leaving the car and using them and always thinking that, oh, you got free or cheap mode of carrying your goods, by the process, they could become a danger to you. So nobody is safe in this circumstance. And I think that these are some of the lessons that we should learn from the COVID and be able to run our society better.
Let's jump to the next story quickly, and I'll start with you on that one. Government establishes a COVID-19 National Public Trust Fund, and it says here, the Attorney General is expected to, by the close of today, complete all legal formalities for the establishment of the coronavirus COVID-19 National Public Trust Fund. Barring any unforeseen circumstance, the Board of Trustees of the fund will be inaugurated by Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, President, tomorrow. The board will begin work immediately after it is inaugurated. The 8-member board, chaired by former Chief Justice Sophia A.B. Akufo, has eminent personalities who have contributed to the development of the country in areas such as law, business, finance, media, and religion as members. It includes, I'm going to give you the list here, Archbishop Justice Akrofi, former Anglican Archbishop of Accra and former Archbishop of the Church of the Province of West Africa, Mr. Jude Kofi Bucknor, and Mrs. Gifty Afeni Dazi. Let me give you the rest of the people. There are Elsie Ado Awadzi, Deputy Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Ofuri Sapong, Chief Executive Officer of the Special Ice Group of Companies, Dr. Abdul Samid Tanko, and Dr. Collins Asari, who will serve as the secretary to the board. All right, so good idea. Is it something that it's going to help us or become another one of those things that, you know,
well, it's a good idea. We need money. COVID is about money. If you look at the monies, countries across the globe are mentioning that they are like expenditure to bring COVID out, $16 billion or something of that sort. So you realize that the cost of controlling and containing COVID is a matter of a lot of money. So obviously, if you look at what's happening around the world, the $100 million even the president announced, obviously if it's available, it's woefully inadequate if you really want to make sure that this disease, we are able to contain it. So for me, it's a good thing. But see, why is it that in the nation we don't have an emergency fund somewhere? We have to wait till there is COVID. I remember some years back we used to hear about something called Ghana Trust Fund, and they were supposed to be into some business. What happened? We allow it to just collapse, and now that we are in a crisis, we are now going to look for money. where will be the money from? We are looking for corporate Ghana to help, but currently, corporate Ghana is in crisis. If the fund had been there earlier, the time they were declaring some good profits were the time that they could have made meaningful contribution to such a fund for it to have a certain buffer, and you depend on it by now. But now that the economy of the world is crashed and companies' productions are down, nobody is buying. Where are these companies also going to get the money to be able to give you some reasonable, good money to be able to help you? And that is why I congratulate an institution like Ghana Association of Bankers, which have voted 10 billion Ghana cedis. That's a lot of money to support this fight. And I only hope and pray that other companies can help. I think individuals must not look at it as a corporate thing. If it is 100 Ghana, 200 Ghana, you can give as an individual. Please give, because this is a national thing. We are all at risk. So the little we can all contribute to this fund will help for us to raise the money to be able to deal with the situation. It is for all of us, and we should all contribute to it. I'll be glad that every individual is able to make some contribution to this fund. If you look at 30 million population, let's say even 10 million people donate 100 Ghana cedis each. That would be a lot of money to help. So let's not leave it to only corporate. Let individuals also come in.
Thank you. Thank you. Before I go to Eben, we are covering the fumigation and disinfection exercise in the Bono East region today. And let's take a look at some of the things that are happening there right now. We'll come back and continue the conversation in just a little bit. So you can see... all right, so we can see okay, this is a deployment of a detachment of military people here that you can see, earlier. Okay, so you can see some people there preparing for the exercise there. All right, so like we said, we will be covering this throughout the day as it goes on there in the Ahafo, Bono East and Bono regions. It's happening all over. We'll be going to Sunyani and some of the other places as well. And just to give you a sense of this exercise that began last week. And we covered it in Accra, we covered it in Kumasi, Kasoa, and we're covering this one as well for you. And this exercise, as you can see there, has already begun in earnest. All right, so the regional minister spoke to us earlier, and we just want to hear what she had to say.
They are set, they are well equipped, and they've been through other regions. Even they have done Greater Accra, they have done Ashanti region, so you can imagine those are the largest regions that we have in the country. And then this region 2 is another large region. I believe that if they have been able to deliver there, they will be delivering for us to do too. So whole 125 markets, lorry parks, and then the streets, the principal streets of the various districts will all be disinfected.
And from the poster, it seems the market women are ready to operate together with the
Sure, yes. 2 days ago, as I said, we had a short briefing with the press together with the stakeholders, the market women, the lorry, GPRT, and all that, and the traditional council. Yes, and they all complied. In fact, as I said, on Sunday, yesterday, we saw some of the market women went to the market to pre-arrange their things properly and then to clean up, to make room for the...
But let's go back and let's continue the conversation. I want to hear from Eben Afenidaze about the COVID fund that has been set up. All right. So, what do you make of it?
Well, indeed, it's a situation that needs so much of financial muscle also to deal with. Because don't forget that you are procuring PPEs, you are procuring test kits, and all that. I mean, there's money, and also the economic impact is huge. In fact, for me, this is what scares me, and obviously, this is going to be the next global recession. after the COVID. I mean, the impact is huge.
No, but there's never been a pandemic without a recession.
Because it's a given. It's going to happen. So it's huge. Because if you look at the impact, especially within the aviation sector, which trickles down to tourism and then trickles down to hospitality, the hotels are struggling. You come down to other businesses that are equally struggling. Those who cannot import, goods traders are struggling because they can't import from certain countries like China due to travel restrictions. It's huge. So government, of course, needs money. I mean, yes, when I listen to the president, and in the meantime, he says that the stimulus package is 1 billion cedis, I was actually laughing because you are looking at countries, of course, the economies are different. But even still, our amount is too small. I mean, 1 billion cedis. You are talking about China doing 300 billion according to the economy, US doing $2 trillion according to the economy. I mean, at least we should come forward a bit. 1 billion cedis, I don't know how much it can help to sell businesses. Cedis, not dollars. So, of course, government needs more money. So, if government gets the support through the fund to do the other medical supplies, then, of course, maybe it can mobilize more to help businesses in particular, because we need businesses to be up and running. People are losing their jobs. In Ghana, some hotels have sacked their casual workers in the meantime. Some are planning to ask permanent workers to go home for a while because you are not getting numbers, so you can't keep them. So, of course, there's a bigger problem. Restaurants are struggling. It's cutting across everywhere. So the fund, it's a good idea. It should be managed well. People should contribute to that. He said every Ghanaian can put in something. The challenge only in Ghana is that, unfortunately, we are running Ghana's economy like a hand-to-mouth economy. And that's why if you are running a hand-to-mouth economy, so almost when something hits you, you really don't have anything to fall on. This is a country whose import cover is 3 months. I mean, it tells you that our economy has not been a sound economy before, and we keep lying to ourselves. On the books, we say we are doing well, macroeconomic statistics are solid, and whatever. But reality hits us, and we know that we are a weak economy, very weak. So we need to we have a lot. For me, I've told myself that what this COVID will teach us as a country, especially developing countries, is that you can't keep running at the pace you are running. You can't do development in the way we are doing it as usual. We have to move up health systems and all other systems. Look at our social support systems. We'll be exposed big time. So we need to so this is a wake-up call for all of us, and we need to get up. And also the point about contribution is that because we have a mistrust for the system, the leadership, in terms of how they manage our resources, it often becomes difficult when you are giving to help the state in any cause, because you don't even know where your money is going. The monies we've had in the past, a lot of it have gone down the drain through people's pockets and corruption. So sometimes it's difficult to give to a genuine cause. So we can only hope that because of the kind of people who are managing the fund, when we send something there, they will use it properly for the benefit of the country.
All right, I'm going to do finally some messages from you, but let me just quickly take a comment from you. Anything you want to say before we wrap up? Just briefly.
All that I want to say is that, please, I'm begging every Ghanaian, whatever that we have been asked to do to prevent or control the disease in the country, let's all pay serious attention. What we see in the very advanced countries where even our big people have been going to seek for health care. Today they have locked down their airport and said nobody even can come there. We have no solution anywhere. This is a flowing situation. It's very fluid, and no country has a specific solution. So the only way we as a country can have a sum of control is that the individual Ghanaian takes it upon him or herself to say, I'm going to abide by the directives of the president, and I'll follow the safety and prevention measures of this disease. For me, that is the only solution we have. Because if the advanced countries are telling us that they allow people to die because what they need, they can't find, I don't see how we will get to a situation where we want the hospitals to be the ones that will save us. We should save ourselves and let us all live in peace. That will be good for all of us.
All right, thank you. So you sent us so many messages this morning. Let me quickly try and read through some of them. Hashtag Breakfast Daily. My name is Miriam from Nungwa. I think they should create a mobile money account for citizens who can contribute any amount to be able to do so. I think it's a good idea. Good morning, sir. I am Pinto from Kasoa. I'm actually a mobile money vendor. Can I go and open my shop to work? If yes, are the security agencies aware of this? Well, the security agencies are aware of the full list of those who are exempt. Banking services are permitted, but I'm not sure about mobile money vendors. We will get that clarification and let you know later on. As health workers continue to be exposed to infected patients, where are the PPEs? Health workers must be protected to protect everybody else. Health workers' lives matter too. This is BB from North Kanishi. I think there's a whole lot of activity being done right now to give as much as possible. All health workers, different people are donating and so on. I'm very well aware of this, both civil society groups and other groups as well. All right, so we have Michael in Fum on standby. We want to talk to him right now and find out where he is and what he can report to us. Good morning, Michael. Hello? Michael? Michael, can you hear me? Where are you and what can you report?
So far, next time as we go, the regional minister for Bono, the state has been communicating, supported by the Ministry Executive for Humanitarian Aid, that Madam President, also by the name, are all around together. So that time has been good so far. That time is only taking place in the Humanity West by the entire Bono region. That in the 12th, the municipal and district assembly in the Bono region. In the Bono region, 125 markets are expected to be fumigated today. Because so far, that was transferred. So as we speak, the design is ongoing in the other municipal and district assemblies in the Bono region. Apart from this, the design is also taking place in the Accra region, where 43 markets are also expected to be fumigated today, and in the Bono region, 78 market centers are also expected to be fumigated today. Security has been good because the military, over 200 of them are supporting it. So far, that's been good.
So can you give us a sense of the general level of cooperation on the part of the market traders with this whole exercise?
So far, what we said, the cooperation has been good. You know, the announcement was down, the ISD used their van, and we also made good use of the human video stations and humanity. So far, I think good. One went to the old market, every place was locked down. You can't see anybody there. The cooperation has so far is good.
All right, so you said we are handling how many markets in total?
In the
All right. Okay. Thank you very much to you, Michael. We will speak to you again later on in the day. Thank you very much for that, and stay safe.
Thank you.
All right. So let's take a look again at the regional minister's conversation with our reporter.
they are set, they are well equipped, and they've been through other regions. Even they have done Greater Accra, they have done Ashanti region. So you can imagine those are the largest regions that we have in the country. And then this region 2 is another large region. I believe that if they have been able to deliver there, they will be delivering for us to do too. So more 125 markets, lorry parks, and then the streets, the principal streets of the various districts will all be disinfected.
And clearly from the poster, it seems the market women are ready to cooperate together with the
Sure, yes. 2 days ago, as I said, we had a short briefing with the press together with the stakeholders, the market women, the lorry, GPRTU, and all that, and the traditional council. Yes, and they all complied. In fact, as I said, on Sunday, yesterday, we saw some of the market women went to the market to pre-arrange their things properly and then to clean up, to make room for.
All right, so there you see it. It's a very serious exercise that we are doing in this country. We did Accra, we did Kumasi, we've done Kasoa, we've done Tamale as well, and we are now doing the Bono East and Ahafo regions. All right, just a quick comment on your thoughts.
There's one thing I want to highlight. Whenever anybody gets to hospital, let's disclose the travel history. We have limited health workers in Ghana. If we hide tribal history and the health workers get infested and they are all quarantined, there will be no one to save the rest of us. So I'm pleading with anybody who is sending a patient to the hospital, you know that the person has a travel history. Please quickly disclose it so that we don't end up infesting our health workers with COVID and they get quarantined and there will be nobody to take care of the public.
Okay.
I beg everybody.
Your comments on the fumigation exercise?
No, I think it's good because at the end of the day, once we are keeping the environment clean, it takes away a lot of diseases from us. So for me, it's good that we are doing something like that.
All right. Okay. Eben, anything to say?
Not really. My disappointment so far is that I was surprised to know we have 45 borders, land borders in Ghana.
Yeah.
But normally the ones you hear of, popular ones, the Lubo, Aflao, we have Paga.
Yeah.
Just yesterday, in the Volta region, 40 people came in from Togo and they were sent back. Now you are imagining the number that are still coming in that we've not been able to arrest. So we are still in danger. I don't know. We really need to get serious with them.
But my question is, why is Togo even letting them leave?
It's strange. But don't forget that some of them may be going through illegal routes. Already we have 10 Guineans who have brought the disease into our country. Meanwhile, in their country, they have 8 cases. What is that? It's like people, they are compromising themselves. Some of the immigration officials are also compromising themselves. I'm hearing those reports. They need to stop. This is not the time to take your bribes.
Yeah. The 45 are the legal borders. Aside the 45, we have hundreds of illegal entry points into the country. So when you don't pay attention to your border security and border management infrastructure, you cannot control things like this.
Okay. Thank you very much to my guest, to Elvis Darko, who is the editor of the Finder newspaper. They are on holiday now, lockdown holiday. And then also to Eben Afeni-Daze, who is the head of business news here at City TV. Thank you very much for watching this segment of the show. We're going to come back and talk nutrition in these times of COVID and looking at those who are above 40, your nutrition is important. So we're going to talk to Akosia Konedu-Yadom, who is a state registered nutritionist. My name is David Kwekusechi. We'll be back. Don't go in.
Since 1967, Hisense has never relented on its brand promise of manufacturing the highest quality but affordable home appliances for everyday people worldwide. At Hisense, we pride ourselves with the fact that our products play the necessary role it is expected in the lives of our cherished customers. Whatever your home appliances needs are, Be it refrigerator, air conditioner, television, gas cooker, electric cooker, iron, rice cooker, washing machine, steamer, kettle, mobile phone, sound system, blender, you can confidently walk into any of our showrooms to pick up what you need at the best price. We are the only company that, without a second thought, give you 5 years warranty. Our after-sales service, coupled with our great customer service, makes us second to none. Quality, style, energy saving, affordability are our common attributes. High sense, everyday prices for everyday people.
There is no promise we cannot keep. There is no commitment we cannot honor. There is no delivery we cannot guarantee. There is only one Bethel Logistics Company Limited, a licensed international freight forwarding and clearing agent, a trusted global brand with an extensive network for the movement of air freight and ocean freight worldwide. We are the trusted name for road freight into Western and Northern Africa. We are fully accredited by Ghana Customs and Excise. We cater for all your freight forwarding, customs clearing and forwarding, cross trades, inland transportation, internal cargo tracking systems, customer freight costing and consultancy, cold chain logistics management, logistics and warehousing, quality inspection, and much more. In Accra, Tema, and Takrady, we are always available to ensure easy movement of cargo countrywide. Call us on 0204 528 900 or 0244 707 859. Email info@bethellogistics.com. Locate us in Accra at North Ridge, adjacent Accra Girls High School, or in Tema at Community 4, or in Takrady on the second floor of the GCB building. Website bethellogistics.com. Bethelog, experts in shipping logistics.
There is nothing as hard as a diamond. For buildings with superior strength that withstand all weather conditions, Diamond Cement should be your preferred choice. Locate Diamond Cement nationwide with factories in Aflao, Takrady, and Bupe. Diamond Cement, as hard as a diamond.
Welcome back. It's Breakfast Daily on City TV. Thank you so much for staying with us. Now, we've been following the fumigation exercise across the country. We started with Accra, then we covered Kumasi, and we were supposed to do something in Kasoa yesterday. The exercise did go on, but then there were some challenges as far as some of the market women saying they did not know that they were supposed to stay home. So my colleague Umar Usanda Amadou is here to share what he observed in Kasoa yesterday with us. And of course, throughout the interview with him, if you have any questions or comments, let us know with the hashtag Breakfast Daily and the WhatsApp line 05505858832. If you're outside Ghana, the country code is +233. Good morning, Sanda.
Good morning, Jifa.
How are you?
I'm okay. Enjoying the lockdown. The traffic flow was
smooth. It's breezy.
Yeah, but I was worried when I was going to sleep last night that I may be encountering so many checkpoints and having to show my ID card.
How was your experience?
Nothing.
Nobody stopped you?
Nobody.
Where did you drive from?
From Dansoman to Accra. To Adabraka. And there wasn't a single checkpoint. I thought there would be. Yeah. There wasn't. I don't know what the internal plans are because this is an intra-city movement. Yeah. I don't know how that's going to be like. I didn't see any policeman walking on my frontage asking people to go back in. I saw the usual cocoa seller selling by the road. I saw the usual watches seller selling by the road.
Were there customers out there to buy?
Yeah, there were people there, of
watches?
course, to buy. Okay. I saw a grocery shop opened, what we call provision shop. Yeah. People were coming in to buy bread and other things. I saw that on my way. Wow. But I also saw construction workers, as in road construction workers. You know, the interchange being constructed towards the garnishing, that roundabout. I think they call it. I've forgotten the name exactly, but the Queros Galval people are there. They are working. I've seen police people in the roundabout with their reflectors, and they look like MTTD officers, and they were wearing their masks. Now, another instructive thing. Garnishing is usually in gridlock, and the activity there is very brisk and bubbling. I didn't see any of that. Vehicles were parked, no passenger to come and board. Wow. I drove through Circle, the Kwame Nkrumah Circle, all the bus terminals. They look like ghosts or cemeteries and so on.
So overall, people are staying.
People are staying home generally, I think, and the hawkers are, I mean, not hawkers, people who vend food and other things are doing what they have to do. I didn't see a checkpoint. For me, that's what I was fearing that, I mean, I would be seen, but luckily I didn't see any such thing. No heavily built police people or military wearing camouflage, neem tree leaves covering their head and holding guns and ordering people back onto their homes. I didn't see that, which means compliance is generally good.
And we don't need force to do the right
Maybe
thing.
we may not for now, but this is day one. You can never be sure. If people realize that things are a bit relaxed, you never know. They'll be like, all right,
let me go out.
Yeah, let's go and take a stroll.
Speaking of going out, yesterday you were in Kasoa. What exactly went down with the market exercise as far as, fumigating the market?
Yeah, so the National Ministry for Local Government and Rural Development, with the support of Zoom Lion, is doing a disinfection exercise nationwide. So they've done Greater Accra markets, all markets in the Greater Accra region, and they've moved to Kumasi. Now, it was a turn of Kasoa, not the Central region. Central region's fumigation, disinfection exercise will happen on 6 April or April 6.
Okay.
But Kasoa being an important community in this whole discussion around COVID-19, mind you, is going to be in lockdown from today, just like all other cities in Accra and in Kumasi. Yeah. So what they have done is that they have gone there to do the disinfection exercise ahead of time. But lots of the traders did not know. The reason is simple. The district assembly or the municipal assembly went with information vans to make announcements. But you see, they were talking to people who live in Kasoa, and it wasn't the people living in Kasoa who bring their foodstuffs to sell. People who come all the way from Bojuase, they are the ones who would bring their foodstuff, nyanyano and so on. They come bring their farm produce to come and sell. So they showed up yesterday morning or Sunday morning, and then these task force people from the municipal assembly are saying, hey, we are not going to allow you to operate. We expect you to move out. And they will not understand.
Approximately how many market people showed up exactly?
These are people who come from the periphery.
Okay,
so you can,
people who are supplying.
Yeah, people who are bringing,
no,
coming to sell and go back. So people in their dozens who come daily. Again, the reason most of them showed up is because they knew that today was going to be a lockdown. The general information is that today there was going to be a lockdown. All right, so can we do brisk business quickly? Let's buy and sell quickly so that we can all go and sleep, because we are not going to work for the next
week. Which makes a lot of sense.
Yes, but you see, if they had understood that they would be allowed to continue to operate throughout the 2 weeks, there would have been no need for them to be rationing yesterday. I have spoken to people who have come to buy onions, tomatoes, and so on, and they are saying they are coming to do it because they are supposed to go and be in lockdown for 2 weeks. And I'm saying that if the communication had gone down well, they would know that these items in the food value chain would be on supply. Because, for instance, we are told that essential stuff would be sold to you. So if you need to prepare your jollof to survive so you don't die, and you need tomatoes, the market would supply that.
But this same rush happened in Kumasi. People are still, impulse buying, rushing to buy. But in Accra exercise, the markets were cleared. Kumasi, the markets were cleared. Did these two cities do anything different that Kasoa didn't do?
I think Kasoa's information was not early enough. I think people were not told early enough what was going to happen. And also they did not understand. They were all confused. They were not sure what the situation was. Mind you, when they were doing the Accra one, there was no imminent lockdown. When they were doing the Kumasi one, there was no imminent lockdown. So you are and you have been told that it was a 1 day. But here is a case in Kasoa, you are told that from tomorrow nobody's going to go out. People even thought that they cannot go out to buy food stuff and so on. And the only market in the locality too, you're telling me not to go. Come on, it's not going to happen. So you notice that immediately the exercise completed, a shop opened in the market. And it was a mad rush.
Wow.
It was a huge crowd, people who had just showed up from their homes, just coming to buy. And this single shop was like the center of attraction, a magnetic point where everybody was coming. Bachom Pentos box back home. And like, it was such a scramble. And so the sellers had to even divide themselves into two. There was one person inside the shop, one person outside. There was another person interior who's just loading cartons and bringing them out. Tin tomatoes and all these things, just oil and all of that just being bought.
What is really wrong with the communication as far as letting people understand that you can still go out and buy food? Because we heard in Kumasi, we heard in Accra, people were just buying anything they can get. Is it that we didn't explain it enough, the president didn't, or what exactly is going on?
It shouldn't be the president. I'm saying that we use vans. You see, Information Service Department, one of the under-resourced institutions, the National Commission for Civic Education, one of the under-resourced institutions, should have easily handled this at the local level. Let someone, when I was growing up, there was a gong beater that would go from community to community on his bicycle and play the gong and announce that ABCD was going to happen on this day. If something like this had happened, people would know. But I'm saying that the Kasoa one was too urgent. And if you look at the conversation with the MCE and the fact that they had to deploy their task force in the morning of the disinfection exercise to be manhandling people, I thought was very, very, very ruthless and very senseless. I thought that they should be blamed. They have said that they have done the communication. The MCC has told me that he has done the communication. But I think there was still, I don't think people in Kasoa are less logical or less reasonable than people in Kumasi and in Accra. We are all Ghanaians and we have the same reasons, or we have the same reasoning abilities. So if people complied here, why didn't they comply there? And then I would blame the authorities who were supposed to implement this rather than the people who failed. Because of course, the trader, the intuition generally is, I'm going to sell. I saw a woman who was selling tomatoes. You can't leave tomatoes for some time to spoil. And so they want to come and sell. So when they were driven out of the market, what they decided to do is to take their market elsewhere. A market for them is not a physical structure. A market is where I can attract customers and sell. And the customers were willing to pursue them anyway. Wow. So the supplier and the one in demand, they understand each other. It was a common language. I'm selling tomatoes. Okay, they've sacked me from the market. I am going to sit under this tree by the roadside over there. You come there. I'll sell it to all of you people. And they went there and they were buying, onions and all those things at very high prices because of the demand and so on. Farmers are worried and so on.
So we're in Sunyani today. What lessons can the other regions learn from the Kasoa experience? Because Kumasi was the exact opposite. They went ahead to even scrap the market, sweep the market, clear the transport stations. So you would expect it to improve as we go on, but it seems as though we dipped a bit with Kasoa. What lessons can we learn
So
from
the
that?
problem, like I said to you, in Kasoa is because of the imminent lockdown. If Kasoa were not going to go in lockdown today,
there wouldn't have been a
mad rush yesterday. If people knew that today they would continue to do business, which is what happened in Kumasi and Accra, because a day after the cleanup, they went back to do business. They wouldn't have done. But yesterday with Kasoa, you notice that less than an hour after the Zoom Lion trucks moved out of the market, the people were back to sell. So they were just on the sidelines waiting. Okay, let's go back. And they started selling. It's like there was almost like a competition between let's quickly finish this up because tomorrow we can't get to do this. And I'm saying that that's not what happened in Kumasi and Accra. In Sunyani, the same thing will not happen because tomorrow people in Sunyani can continue to do business. And Sunyani is the cleanest city in Ghana, by the way.
It's not much
and so there wouldn't be a lot of cleaning to be done. I don't know how they've done it, but it's an excellent thing. If you've been to Sunyani, it's such a beautiful.
I went for the Heritage Caravan.
It's so clean.
But Kasoa again, there are people leaving Accra as part of the lockdown. They didn't want to be in Accra. They just wanted to leave. What exactly was going on?
Yeah, so the insert you played in the beginning where this man with his family is moving out, and I chanced upon them in the gridlock, and there was a serious gridlock on the road yesterday. Wow. Now, mind you, the Kasoa Kasoa is situated on what we call the West African Trans Highway. It's a West African route, or the ECOWAS route. It's our N1. It's a national route 1. It moves from Aflao to Elubo. Now, if you're moving from Eastern Ghana to Western Ghana, you have to transit Kasoa whether you like it or not. Now, already this is a busy road. Now, people have heard that Accra is going to be locked down. Kasoa is going to be locked down. What do? We are living to the village. And it's not...
Let's take a look at your conversation with the continue. So we'll take a look at Sanda's conversation with some of the people who are leaving Accra to their various hometowns.
This is City TV, and my name is Umaru Sanda Amadou. Now, we are coming to you from an area known as Estate Junction on the Kasoa Bujumburam Road. We are looking at the traffic here. This traffic may not be unusual, but if you saw the length, you know why it's worth covering for you on City TV. The story is that people are moving in droves out of Accra, out of Kasoa, headed towards the central region and possibly to the western region. This is the ECOWAS route. This is the N1, the major road that will take you out of Accra, out of Kasoa, ahead of the lockdown, and vehicles are moving at a snail pace, and the traffic is crazy. Let me see if I can get traffic to have a conversation with them. I'm attempting to reach out. If you could just, thank you. Okay. Hello, sir. I'm from City TV. My name is Umaru Sanda. I want to talk about the traffic briefly, if you don't mind. How long have you been in this route?
2.5 hours. I left Pukwasi. I arrived at Kasoa here 8:30. Now it's about 11 something. It's terrible today.
Have you been using this road all the time?
Most often.
So this is very unusual?
Unusual.
So that is again, and let me just say that the traffic is moving slowly, but we are still attempting to have a conversation while we are in motion, and it is a lawless situation, and like you're seeing, people are driving on the shoulders of the road. Hello, sir. My name is Umaru Sanda from City TV. Namu kwa him, muse munyi namu shekamu. Uni wani ukano.
Mene me yere ne me mbani me nua.
Namu kwa him.
Ya kwa aguna kunyako.
Ose.
Aguna kunyako.
Na dentia.
Oh, enye bibia se weekend na yebedi wo fie 2 weeks ne pese yakwa spend wo ye krom.
Lockdown one.
Yem fan bibi sa.
Enye se musro.
Oh, David.
Na ekwa we unim uta fa ha.
O ma fa me kwa.
Na traffic no zo hun se.
Oh, nkande akoye Sundays na nka me fi se nkan ye bibi sa but me so me fi se bibi nti ama traffic na jam me pa.
So if you go to your hometown for the weekend, you might as well just extend it to 2 weeks. Sanda.
The lockdown is a weekend for him. So that's why
extended week.
An Alaji who was going, was it Western region? He had his,
Why were they leaving?
They are leaving.
Why?
Because the
president said, don't leave your home, stay home.
They are not leaving their homes, so they are carrying their homes away. So that's what they have done. I mean, again, that goes to question the lockdown strategy. You announced a lockdown at 11 p.m. on Friday night. When Vladimir Putin, when Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister of India, announced a lockdown, it was like 6 hours. Everybody, you can't move anywhere. We gave 48 hours plus. And so people they had the liberty to run away. And so that's what it's doing. Now imagine if anybody amongst those people who are moving out have the virus. It means that they're just going to spread it. Like we know the story of the gentleman who took the virus from Accra through public transport all the way to Wa. And before you get to Wa from Accra, the number of communities you go through and the hawkers that you would exchange money with, the passengers on the bus, and usually they will stop at a place and go and use the washroom, the urinary and all these things. Stop at not next door, the thing on the Suhum Road.
Okay.
What was the name?
Stop.
Rest stop, where you go and stand, buy kebab and all those things. I mean, this is going to be happening, and I thought that, and I agree with one of your panelists on the newspaper review, that it should have been a little more immediate than we have seen.
How so?
Know you don't want it to be inhumane.
Yeah.
You don't want to be, but
because another group that have left are the Kayayes.
Yeah, but if you
These
must
are
be
people
done,
who don't have homes to stay in. So if you say stay home, where would they go? They would need to go back to wherever home is in their hometowns.
But if it must be done, it must be done well. That's what I've heard before.
What would we do with them?
And
because you're very passionate about that group.
I know,
well.
I know. So you see, there's a strategy. Government, you want to lock down. There are homeless people, and you can add the Kaya people to these homeless people. We have shut down secondary schools. Their boarding facilities are there. We've shut down universities. Their hostel facilities are there. And they have taken their trunks and chop boxes and left the dormitories, right? So what are we using those dormitories for? We have shut down churches and mosques. What are we using the churches and mosques for? Okay, as a government that has social welfare in mind, and you have a ministry for social welfare development, what are you going to do? You have already said to us that you're going to register Kayayes, and we know the number of Kayayes in Accra. So instead of letting them go all the way back to wherever, then the idea is that you don't want them to spread the virus. That's why you're locking down Accra, because you don't want people to carry anything out or bring anything in. Why do you let thousands of Kayayes move to Zebila, to Damongo, to all these places? Put them in the church. Put them in the mosque. Put them in the dormitories of the secondary schools. Supply them with hot meals 3 times a day. If you have budgeted $100 million, and that's 400 million or 500 million Ghana cedis for fighting coronavirus, I don't know how much the kaya you can eat. 1 cedi cocoa in the morning with 1 togbe, in the afternoon beans and gari, in the evening 1 ball of kenke. That on the average is like 5 cedis or even 7 cedis. So even if they are 10,000 kayas, and I'm not sure they are up to that much, I don't think we are going to spend even 0.01% of the 100 million if we're going to just feed these people, the homeless people. So let's not let them go. So if you want to lock down now. And if you want the people to go, find them a place. So you can say that all Kayayos who are sleeping by the streets as I speak, and this is the president speaking on Friday night, okay, those sleeping in Adabraka, move to Christ the King Church. All those sleeping at Tudu, move to the Central Mosque over there. All those sleeping at Tema Station, go to, what's the name of that secondary school? Kimbo Secondary School. Put them in the dormitories, feed them, make sure they are locked. I mean, we have people we are paying. Do you know how much it costs to be in a plush hotel in East Legon?
Yeah.
We are keeping people there for 2 weeks.
But today is the first day of our lockdown. We'll get back to the people who are staying there, the bloggers who are staying in these hotels. You were in a Suchari. What exactly was going on?
Okay, I wasn't in Australia, but I come from Asuchari Junction.
Okay.
Now, if you look at the police deployment plan, when they plan to lock down Accra, there are areas that you have to lock down so that people will not come into Accra and go out of Accra. So the video that we are just going to view now is coming from Asuchari Junction. Asuchari Junction is strategic because if you're moving from Accra to Akosombo to Ho, you're going to the Volta region. Even if you're going to, in fact, Australia Junction is on what we call the Eastern Corridor. You're moving from Tema, you're moving from Accra, you're going to Akosombo, continuing to Jasikan, Oti region or Volta region. Australia Junction is critical. So there's a police checkpoint there, a police barrier.
And that's what we're looking at.
Yes, so the police people have decided that this is going to be one of the routes that they are going to prevent people from moving. So every vehicle coming from the Volta region or the Eastern region coming to Tema, Accra, Ashaiman will be blocked at this intersection.
Wow.
Every vehicle moving from Accra, Afenya, Ashaiman, Tema, going to the Eastern Corridor Road, going to even Dimbila and all those places, you cannot go.
Except vehicles carrying essential items like food.
So cargo.
Okay.
And so what I'm seeing here, the picture here is that the videos that I've just, and this was sent to me by someone in the community a short while ago, is that the barrier has stopped people this much, and you can see it's like,
lot of people.
And yeah, this is not even the end of it, and this is a major highway again, and so this is what is happening there, and I know a similar thing will be happening at Chopoli, which is the road towards Aflao.
Situations like this, or
we should have stopped people. We should have told people to check in shortly. By the time we go for City Prime News and City Newsroom on City TV, we should be able to give you a better picture. We have a feeling this will be replicated at Chopoli on the Aflao N1 highway. The same thing will be happening at Kasoa at the bus stop, the toll booth. The same thing will be happening on the Agri road. So at Ayimensa, if you're going to the eastern region, the same thing will be happening on the Sawam road if you're going to Koforidua. And so these are exit points out of the greater Accra region. People just simply wanting to leave. So these are perhaps people who failed to leave yesterday, and they are the ones who are like, okay, finally, let's quickly leave. Again, it could be people who are coming from Ho, who are just simply coming to Accra. Because Ho is not in lockdown. Volta region is not in lockdown. Eastern region is not in lockdown. And me, I'm just coming to do my business. My sister called me yesterday. Can she bring her wagashi from Japan to come and sell in Nima? I told her, hold on and check the system first and be sure. Because I do not know how it's going to work like. So she's coming to sell food. But how is it going to work like? Is she allowed to bring her stuff to Nima to come and sell? Because someone in Nima has to fry that wagashi that she's bringing from the peripheries of Japan to use for her wache this morning. So you see the connection. So our lockdown is a bit complex.
Speaking of complex, wrapping up for us, the goods, the positives of the lockdown and the room for progress from your perspective.
The positives, first of all, we are adhering to a lot of things that we previously did not. We are having to respect a lot of the WHO instructions that we've been given, the government Ghana Health Service instructions that we've been given. It is good. It is giving us an opportunity to control the spread of the virus. That's if a lot of it has not already escaped our jurisdiction. It's important. But something we should all be worried and concerned and looking and praying forward to is that the police and the security or the soldiers who have been told to ensure the people respect or obey this order, we actually pray and hope that they do comply and not become brutal and ruthless. Because usually you know how some of our friends in the uniform will be trigger happy. And I don't know. Again, it could be fatigue. If you are going to stand by the same road for 24 hours, 48 hours, I know you may be frustrated. If you see I know my right guy, you're just like, Charlie, you cry are tiring me. But they should just be, patient with us, especially with the journalists. We are going to be a lot in their space. And I'm praying that they will really understand that they are essential. We are also essential. In fact, maybe we are even more essential.
All right, on that note, thank you very much, Umar Rusanda Amadou. He's the host of Eyewitness News on 97.3 City FM. You can catch him at 17:30 GMT. Don't go anywhere. Breakfast Daily will be right back.
Imagine if you can get all the understanding on some of the difficult subjects you struggle with in school. As a student, do you feel dissatisfied with how hard it is to figure out the subjects you're learning? Or as a parent or guardian, do you worry that your child is struggling to understand some of the subjects in school? Well, now you don't need to sign up for extra lessons or tutors. Simply tune in to Class Act, Mondays to Thursdays at 5:30 p.m. on City TV. Class Act is a show that seeks to enable senior high school students gain a much better understanding of what they learn in school. All you need is a TV, a chair, your notebook, and your pen. Get clarity on subjects such as maths, English, IT, and science. Class Act airs every Monday to Thursday at 5:30 p.m. on City TV on DSTV channel 363 and GoTV channel 182. Don't forget your pens, pencils, and your notebooks and tune in to Class Act, only on City TV.
City TV is live on DSTV. Go to channel 363. On GoTV, access City TV on channel 182. On a digital TV, please press the menu button on the remote control and run a new search on your TV. Take note that without an antenna, you cannot access City TV on your television. City TV can be accessed on a free-to-air digital box like the GoTV and StarTimes box. City TV, it's your world.
Good morning. My name is Michelle Atto. You're tuned into Breakfast Daily on City TV. Good morning.
Welcome back. We're going to have a conversation about nutrition, and this morning we have Kasoa who's a state registered nutritionist, and she's going to help us to understand staying healthy for those. Last time she was here, we had a conversation about those who are between 15 and 40, and today we're going to look at those who are above 40 years old and what they should be looking out for. Kasoa, good morning.
Good morning, Kweku.
How are you?
I'm also yourself.
I'm very good.
Just hoping for the best.
First day of the lockdown, how are you feeling?
Well, it's okay. I feel normal because I was able to come out.
Okay, so let's get to nutrition and those above 40. What are we looking at in terms of their specific needs?
Okay, so it's very critical for everyone, either small, big, young, whatever, or whoever you are, to pay attention to your immune health as far as boosting your immune system is concerned. And so for starters, I would say that we all need to make sure we are eating well and sticking to a very healthy lifestyle. Eating well, I always speak about the fact that it should work with the 4-star diet. And the 4-star diet will ensure that whatever is on your plate is balanced. For where we find ourselves, it's difficult to satisfy the protocol as far as the World Health Organization's description of the 4-star diet is concerned. So when we do a 24 in the 4-star diet, so elsewhere somebody or people can satisfy ourselves sometimes what we want to eat, and most of our meals wouldn't permit us to satisfy the 4-star diet protocol over a meal. So we spread it and say that by the time we do a 24-hour dietary recall, you should be satisfying the 4-star diet, and that has to do with the staples. What we call, one of the star is the staples, what we call the carbos. And then the second star has to do with the leguminous family, where you have nuts, pulses, seeds, beans is an example, sorghum, and all the rest. Then we have the third star, which has to do with fruits and vegetables. Every fruit can be part of the star, and then we have every vegetable forming part of the third star. And for our conversation will be centered on the third star, even though we have some traces of the nutrients we will need in the other stars. And then you have the 4th star, which is the animal sources of food. We have meat, we have eggs, every proteinous part of a food. Every protein falls under the 4th star. So if we put everything together in 24 hours, you should be satisfying these protocols. There are people who are doing it over a meal, like breakfast. But if you can't do it over a meal, make sure that when you do a 24-hour dietary record, that is from breakfast to supper or dinner, you are satisfying every protocol here. But for the purposes of what we are discussing as far as COVID-19 is concerned and nutrition, the WHO or the World Health Organization clearly spoke about nutrition as one of the items for us to pay attention to. So after washing your hands, sanitizing your hands, keeping that 2 meters distance, and doing every precautionary measure we've been asked to do, nutrition is something that is serious because it has to do with your immune health. It will help you fight infections. And even for people who are already going through certain things as far as exhibiting some of these things are concerned, you still need to make sure you are paying attention to it. So, Kweku, your questions might bring whatever we need to discuss out. We'll go through the examples of what we need to add to our meals.
So I want us to focus on this 3 stars.
The 3rd star.
And it's talking about the vitamin-rich fruits and vegetables. Let's delve into that a little bit more. Right now, people are on lockdown, but they are allowed to go and get food. What should people and why should people focus on these particular things? Aspects of the other.
Okay, so to start with, I will say that you need to be paying attention to vitamin C rich foods. That is the citrus families, for example. They are other foods with vitamin C in there, but when we talk about powerful vitamin C rich foods, you can't go wrong with the citric foods. As far as pineapple, lime, lemon, oranges are concerned. And I had another interview last week, and I told them, if you are able to go an orange or two in a day, you give your body its need as far as vitamin C or ascorbic acid is concerned for the day. And with vitamin C, Kweku, you and me, we know that you can't, the body doesn't produce it or store it, so you need to always take it in. And so you have to make a conscious effort about it as far as pumping vitamin C into your system is concerned. Vitamin C will increase the production of white blood cells, which is key for fighting infections. We know that the main importance of our white blood cell is to make sure we are guarded as far as infections are concerned, fighting infections are concerned. So if this is what the main thing being done for you, it makes it a superfood as far as boosting our immune health is concerned. Yes, so we have other foods. We have vitamin A. We have vitamin A foods and vitamin A. Example, broccoli. Broccoli is one of the healthiest vegetables you can find on planet Earth, and other leafy green vegetables. So for strengthening the immune system and aiding the proper functioning of other organs like the lungs, kidney, and so on. And we know that in this time of COVID-19, we are much particular about our lungs. So if you have vitamin A rich foods where leafy greens form part of these food, and we have other food
so we have
items
lettuce over there, we can see broccoli,
you can see some of the stars being even satisfied here as far as vitamin A is concerned. So incorporating the leafy green vegetables, whatever you find around you, if it's spinach, if it's broccoli is excellent. But if you have contomere, you are assured of vitamin A, and it's just not your immune health, it helps you have healthy eyes as well. Yes, so you need to make sure that you are incorporating these into your meals. You don't get everything your body will need in a particular meal, so make sure they are all coming together. Having contomere, having this, having a bit of the staples will make sure that you have everything you need, because you can have vitamin A also in another staple.
What about vitamin E?
Vitamin E is also here, and with vitamin E, it helps with the immune, the function. It helps with the function. So this helps with regulating and maintaining immune system function to help fight infections. So I always say that Kweku has to do this, but something should push Kweku to do it. And so the immune system on its own will sometimes need to be motivated in a way. So good sources or resources of vitamin E has to do with the leguminous family, where you have beans sitting in there, you have nuts, you have seeds. So nuts, seeds, pulses, they are all excellent sources of vitamin E. And then we have another powerful vitamin B6. Yes, so for vitamin B6, it is also vital for supporting biochemical reaction in the immune system. Example, soya bean, vegetables, whole grains, fish, and so on. So like I said, you need to be gingered sometimes to do what you have to do, and this is what vitamin B6 and the food items there. So last week we spoke about avocado, we spoke about some meats and fish, we spoke about poultry, you have liver, you have fish. So make sure everybody in the life cycle is satisfied as far as their needs is concerned. Soya is in, and I'm happy about soya because we are in the house with the children. You need to make sure they are also well taken care of. But we are focusing on our older folks, because based on the statistics outside, it appears they are really challenged. I was reading the fatality cases, and it was so obvious that persons above 60, 70, above 80 was so bad. The death the incidence of death is so high in people above 80.
I mean, generally speaking, I think that all the different countries that have had the highest cases of COVID-19, the larger groups of people that have been affected are those who are above 60.
So it's because they are compromised in a way as far as their immune health is concerned. So for those people, if you can go through this, we I will recommend supplementation because last week we spoke about it and I had even samples to show for people who will be interested, because naturally something has happened to their bodies, and you have people also having existing conditions. Cardiovascular diseases is on top, followed by diabetes and then the rest. So if you are somebody already with issues with your cardiovascular health, like if you had a heart problem, if your heartbeat is kind of not beating like it ought to be, if any form of cardiovascular concern, you are really at risk as far as this almighty COVID-19 is concerned. So it is very prudent for you, or it's very critical for you, to make sure you are paying attention to what you are eating, because it's going to supply your body the nutrients it will need as far as boosting on your body's immunity is concerned. Quickly.
So let's talk about the precursor and those kinds of other things, cloves, precursor and so on, that we use to spice up our meals. How important are they? You see, we do that usually because it adds flavor and a good aroma and all of that. But how important is that in terms of nutrition itself?
Okay, so precursor can be a spice or can be a condiment, and I believe Zoe and myself some weeks ago we spoke extensively about the health benefits of precursor. Precursor is loaded with a lot of benefit, and it's one of the most healthiest ingredients or spice or condiments we can have. As a matter of fact, Kweku, I came up, we will even do a remedy to detoxify our bodies whilst we are home, because the tendency to overeat and put on weight. I told a platform that, okay, so people will start coming out saying, admin, I've put on weight, tell it mom, so help me lose weight. It is such a period where a lot of people will put on weight, and precursor is very, very good as far as beating your weight down is concerned. And then we are focusing on lemon too, because it is part of the citric family foods, and so we know that our immune system will have a boost. We are adding ginger because it will help us take care of the flu, flu, and then any kind of feverish, because yesterday for once I thought my temperature had changed, because I feel that the anxiety and the panic in the air is all contributing to we not feeling fine as far as our nerves are concerned. And ginger is blessed to take care of our nerves and our nervousness. Yes, and then for the cloves or pepper, it's also a healthy spice or condiment. So if you have peppercorns, if you have cloves, if you have pepper, huentia, a sorisa or a fumigation, know that is a natural spice or herb, and it will give you some health benefits as far as tackling this thing is concerned, because once you are healthy, your immune health is not compromised.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kasoa Konedu Yadom. She's a state-registered nutritionist and has been helping us to understand how to stay healthy. COVID-19, we will win by all means, and one of the ways of fighting this is also with your health and with your immune system. All right, so we're going to take a look at, in a cooking segment, at a video that has been recorded earlier on with Flossie Azu. She's going to help us to understand how to prepare a bean salad. Now, the interesting thing about this is it's easy to do, as always. It's very healthy for you, especially at this time. And then remember that as you're doing it, also try to have fun with it, okay? So try it at home where you are, and let us also know some of the results you come up with as you try this as well. Let's take a look at this segment.
Hey everyone, let's review our ingredients for a very simple bean salad. It's going to be packed with nutrients, very good for the immune system to help you fight COVID-19. We have our tomatoes, high in vitamin C, excellent for your immune system. We have cucumbers, we have spring onions, we have red onions, we have some already boiled bambara beans. So I boiled these ones till they're very firm. You can boil them a little longer if you want yours a little bit more mushy, or you can pressure cook it. It also makes it a lot softer and mushier. Then we have some celery leaves, some dandelion leaves. Now, dandelion leaves are very easy to find. It's a weed that grows pretty much anywhere, and already chopped carrots. So let's get to it. So first, we get started by chopping up the onion into very, very fine pieces. So we want to get them as small as possible. I love onions in salads, but they can have a very strong and overpowering flavor. So I like to make sure that it's as small as it possibly can be, so that it adds its zing to it without kind of like taking over the whole thing. So once I'm done with that, I'll start assembling it in my bowl here. Right, so nice and finely chopped. Yeah. And to make the mixing a little bit easier, I layer it, so I don't just put all the onions at the bottom. Then we now have to try and mix it in more evenly. But I'll put some onions, and I'll put some tomatoes, then I put some other ingredients, just kind of like layer the ingredients so that when it's time to mix evenly, it's a little simpler to do. Okay. So now I'm chopping up the tomatoes. As you can see, this is very simple. It's very easy to eat fresh, nutritious food that is excellent for your body, right? You see that? Now, because my cucumbers are already chopped, I can just sprinkle a little bit in there, right? And then I go to my dandelion leaves. Now these, I love. These also have a pretty powerful, kind of like a very bitter, bold taste, right? Very good for you. Excellent. Dandelion leaves are one of like the superfoods that they say, and it's a lot easier for your body to digest than something like kale, which can actually be very, very hard on your body to digest. It's packed with nutrients, but it can be a little tough for you. Sprinkle some of the carrots there, and then we do it all over again, right? Tomatoes, carrots, leaves. Ooh, I can smell that dandelion. Ooh, that is good. I know that in this time of coronavirus and COVID-19, everybody is staying home. It can be very tough to stay home, but the way the virus works, that is the best thing for us right now in order to not spread it. So I'm layering the tomatoes on now with the already chopped onions that I had on the board, as you can see. And then more cucumbers on there. More carrots. I think I'm gonna be using the last batch of carrots, and then back to the dandelion, making sure that I'm getting all these colors in there, all these textures in there. I have some walnuts as well that I can top up the salad with once we're done. I'll show you that once we're done, so that we have like a lot of colors and textures going. I think I'm good with the onions for now, because I also have kind of like Flemish onions that you can see it, but be the kind of activity. So I choose how to keep that, right? And your salad tossed. Do you like getting your salad tossed? Let's see. Ooh, look at this. Look at all that color. This looks absolutely wonderful. Oh yeah, this looks good. This looks very good. Then next we're going to be working on the dressing for this. We'll work on the dressing for this, and then we will slice up some celery leaves for the garnish for that as well. Now for the dressing, we're going to use some good immune boosters as well, something that's cleansing, detoxing. All of these things are helping you boost your immune system up, helping you detox your body so that you can fight any infection, any immunoinvaders, any foreign bodies that come into your body and try to get you down with this COVID-19. So we have some garlic. I've already pureed the garlic here because I need it in liquid form. That's what we're going to use. We have some turmeric here as well. We have the orange, nanahunu, the pepper. We have some olive oil, and we have some tamarind vinegar from Wanjo Foods. All right, so in a small bowl, I start with, so depending on how spicy you want your dressing, you can add a lot more of the pepper or a lot less, more ginger or less of that. Also going to do about like a tablespoon of the garlic. This is going to be really good to boost immune systems. We're going to sprinkle some of the turmeric in there. And then we're going to grind up the ginger to get it really nice and pasty, so that we can get, if you have ginger juice as well, you can use that. So let's just some ginger juice. I ground up the ginger, mixed it with some water, and our olive oil to make our lovely dressing for our salad. And that's what gives curry runnier now. It has more of like a, done. We have our salad mixed nicely. I'm gonna just sprinkle a little bit. So this is garden. I got my dandelion, walnuts that I had with me here. I'm home now, so I'm doing everything from my home. Nuts, walnuts are really easy to just crush your fingers like that. So we have a little bit of crunch, right? Just giving it a more diverse texture palette here to our yummy, yummy, yummy salad. And voila, we are done.
So that's Flossie Azu there teaching us how to make bean salad.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much. It's been a great morning, and I trust that you enjoyed. If you missed any segments on this show, kindly go to our YouTube page, CityTube, and you can watch all the different segments again. My name is David Kwekusechi.
And I am Jifari Kuyamatam. Do enjoy your day and stay safe. Goodbye.
Hello, my name is Mata Adwanan, Innovations Manager of Accra Ventures Limited, producers of Fortifa. Fortifa, certified by MUFA, is an organic compost manufactured right here in Ghana, using source-irrigated organic waste. This waste is taken through scientific processes to add value and ensure safety. Fortifa compost is purely organic and capable of recuperating depleted farmlands. It increases yield, and all harvested crops are organic, have long shelf life, and good for human consumption. Fortifa is designed beautifully with directions of use embossed on it. Fortifa is available, Fortifa is affordable, Fortifa can be used on all kinds of crops.
For bulk purchase, contact Jacora on 0289 673514 or 0205 462010.
Kinky, frizzy, nappy, cruise. All words used in different parts of the world to describe the hair of people of African descent, usually with a derogatory connotation. With very diverse hair texture, African women on the continent and around the world have always faced challenges with the way they wear their hair, especially in a society that has framed the idea that beautiful hair doesn't naturally belong to their hair type. However, in recent years, we've begun to see African women in natural or braided hair more often and being accepted due to seemingly open canal voices. Identity. I am Orion Itangishaka. With me is my co-host Patrick, is a regular Our Voice contributor, Tatenda Gumbo, VOA's social media producer. Tatenda, welcome.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
We are also so happy to be joined by a gentleman today, Arzuma Kompare, who recently produced a VOA Hair the Dream, a special report produced by VOA's Arzuma Kompare and Mariama Traore that takes us into the lives of top African hair braiders whose unique talent have helped them achieve the American dream. Show you beauty, healing, and even a fight against social injustice through hair. Take a look.
Only a refuge from the outside world where women share stories and cultures.
People who come newly from Africa is a place where they can learn the American culture, and the only place where as African we can actually have the opportunity to educate African American about our culture, about who we are, because when many times you find yourself that people think you people live in the bush.
It's my first time getting Kiki twist. Okay, what's this in the back of my head? What's that? Oh. Looking beautiful is painful and expensive.
And why do you still do it?
Because I like to look beautiful, and I'm priceless.
Who? Jesus, who on this head right here? Who on here? Who right here?
My cubicle vortex is not functioning right now.